Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Dhakal. The top stories first. Prime Minister Oli urges people to stop questioning his loyalty to the Federal Democratic Republic, says he will protect democracy at any cost. Citizen Society conducts march past in the restricted area near Sheetal Niwas, blames PM Oli of misinterpreting the constitution. Government confirms 105 new cases of coronavirus in the country. Number of active cases down to 2,108. Kremlin takes extreme step to curb support for opposition activists. From Alexei Navalny expels 3 diplomats from the country. And Real Madrid coach demands respect from media, affirms Madrid is still the contender for the La Liga title race. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has urged the dissident leaders to leave the path of instability and participate in the elections. The Prime Minister urged the people not to question the loyalty of the faction to the Federal Democratic Republic and claimed that they were compelled to go for a fresh mandate as the tendency to refuse to work from within the party had increased. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, who has been accused of taking regressive steps after the dissolution of the House of Representatives, has said that no one can take away democracy in the country. Addressing a massive public meeting organized by the NCP Bagmati Pradesh on Friday, Prime Minister Oli said that he had fought for the Republic for 3 decades and would not put democracy under any risk. The Prime Minister said that he was compelled to go for a fresh mandate as there was a growing tendency within the party not to allow him to work. After dissolving the House of Representatives on December 20, Prime Minister Oli had announced elections on April 30th and 10th of May. Since then, dissidents in the NCP have been protesting in the streets, calling the PM's move unconstitutional. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister Oli's street assembly of hundreds of people caused major traffic congestion in the streets of Kathmandu. Due to the public assembly, the police had stopped the entry of vehicles in Jamal, Kantagar, Keshar Mahal, Lainchor, Hatisar, Kamladi and other areas. Traffic management in rest of the area was also disrupted after vehicles were barred from entering these places. Due to the traffic management in the valley, which became even more chaotic from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., it was the general public who suffered. In many places, drivers and passengers protested by blowing the horns of their vehicles. The traffic congestion proved impossible to navigate for some people as they had to stay in traffic jam for over 5 hours. Civil society conducted a march past in the restricted area near Sheetal Niwas. Civil society, which is engaged in agitation against the dissolution of the House of Representatives, marched from Padma Ratna Tuladar's residence to Lainchor yesterday morning. They marched to Sheetal Niwas to protest against the unconstitutional move of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to dissolve the lower house. At a rally after the march, civic leader and political analyst Shyam Shrestha accused the Prime Minister of interpreting the constitution himself, knowing full well it is the job of the court to do so. After the dissolution of the House of Representatives on January 20th, the civil society has been engaged in a massive civil movement. The society is now in the 4th phase of the movement. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 105 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 271,707, while the number of active cases has dropped to 2,108. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 267,564 infected persons have recovered from the disease in the country so far. The death toll from coronavirus has reached 2,035 with 2 new casualties across the country yesterday. Nepal is currently among the top 44 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with 27.4 million confirmed cases, followed by India with 10.81 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 105.89 million people across the world and claimed 2.3 million lives. And now the news from the economic front. The construction of head box of the Melamchi water project is expected to complete within 2 months. Although it was supposed to be completed by the second week of last December, the construction was delayed due to the global spread of COVID-19. Project Information Officer Rajendra Prasad Pant said that the work could not be completed within the stipulated time as the work was slowed down during that period. He further added that the construction will be completed by April as the work is in full swing now. He said that the work of concreting the headbox, placing the gate frame and other works including electrical work are still pending. Information Officer Pant said some other hurdles in construction were lack of manpower and construction materials in the project since last April. According to him, less than half of the required manpower had worked on the construction site during that period. The project had sent water through a temporary dam last month as the construction of the headbox was not completed during the test of the tunnel. The accident took place as the door in the tunnel was connected incorrectly. The error is now being corrected. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Russia has expelled 3 diplomats for supporting protest organized by opposition activist Alexei Navalny. Diplomats from Germany, Sweden and Poland have been barred by the Kremlin for joining protest in support of Navalny, who has become a sensation worldwide. BBC has quoted the Russian Foreign Ministry as saying that the 3 diplomats took part in illegal demonstrations on 23rd January. The diplomats' home countries have condemned the expulsions, as have the UK, France and the EU. Alexei Navalny was jailed by the Kremlin last week. Navalny has earned a name for himself as a sharp critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The expulsions were announced just a few hours after EU Foreign Affairs Chief Joseph Borrell met Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. Hundreds of thousands of people took part in protest in support of Navalny across Russia on 23rd and 31st of January. Thousands were arrested, BBC reported. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Real Madrid manager Zinedine Zidane has demanded respect from journalists and says his side is still in the La Liga title race, BBC reported. Reigning champions Real sit third, 10 points behind leaders Atletico, but having played a game more. And a poor recent run has led to media scrutiny over the French manager's position at the club. BBC has cited Zidane from his news conference on Friday, where he said, "What makes me laugh is you ask me why I might be annoyed. I don't deserve to be treated like that by the press. We won the league last season and I'd hope for a bit of respect," Zidane added. Zidane was appointed in March 2019, having led the club to 3 consecutive Champions League successes and a league title in 2016-17 during his first spell in charge. Real Madrid will face La Liga's bottom club, Huesca, today. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Prime Minister Oli urges people to stop questioning his loyalty to the Federal Democratic Republic, says he will protect democracy at any cost. Citizen Society conducts march past in the restricted area near Sheetal Nivas, blames PM Oli of misinterpreting the constitution. Government confirms 105 new cases of coronavirus in the country, number of active cases down to 2,108. Kremlin takes extreme steps to curb support for opposition activists from Alexei Navalny, expels 3 diplomats from the country. And Real Madrid coach demands respect from the media, affirms Madrid is still the contender for the La Liga title race. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.